This title is narrated with virtual voice. Computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Kiaran. Immortal Highlander, Clan Mag Raith Book 5. By Hazel Hunter. Chapter 1. A heavy mist and thin gray skies greeted Kiaran Mag Raith that morning as he walked out of the stronghold. Such damp, chill dawns spelled the end of summer in the Scottish Highlands, or so he recalled from a time now made equally foggy. He could blame too many centuries and his general disinterest for his fading memories, but that had become a convenient excuse. "Fair morning, brother," Broden Mag Raith greeted him as he walked out from the barn. The smile on the trapper's handsome face echoed the glowing joy in his eyes. "I'd offer to take morning patrol for you." "But I will hurt him if he does," Marina Dewey said as she joined them. Tall, slender, and strong, the pale Frenchwoman also appeared blissful. "Of course I will feel guilty after, and heal him. Absorbing his wounds will then make me suffer, which will hurt him more, and he will—" She broke off in a laugh as Broden scooped her up and tossed her over his shoulder. "Another time, brother," the trapper said as he carried his lover toward the stronghold. "Never fall in love, mon ami," Marina called back to him. "It is the mess." If there was one thing he could assure her, it was that. "Aye, my lady." Once they entered the stronghold, Kiaran didn't bother to continue feigning a smile. Appreciating, or even envying the happiness Broden and his lady had found together wasn't impossible for him. It simply required more effort than he cared to make. Since coming to the ruined castle of Dunchail with his band of Prytani brothers, Kiaran had felt himself growing quieter, more detached, and less interested in everything. He'd also done things of which he should have felt ashamed, but truly didn't. The changes had not been entirely unexpected, but they now added to the inescapable burdens he had brought with him. Soon, Kiaran thought as he rolled his aching shoulders, he would have to act, before he no longer cared about the consequences. A flutter of black-spotted wings fanned his face before a small, gray-headed kestrel alighted on his shoulder. Sift chittered, his dark eyes catching the first rays of sun to turn a rich golden amber. Through the mind connection Kiaran shared with the raptor, he saw a flash of his own strong features, carved stark and cold by weariness. The red-gold mane that framed them looked tangled and wild, but it was the dark blue eyes staring at him from his own thoughts that made him end the link. He hated seeing the flat lifelessness in them. Sift pecked at his ear and uttered a scolding sound. Hardly larger than a man's fist, the raptor had been the first male kestrel Kiaran had tamed. Sift usually wasn't the first to greet him in the morning, however, which stirred his sluggish curiosity. "Where is your lady and the flight?" Kiaran murmured to the kestrel, who cried sharply before he flew off toward the forest. Following the bird took less effort than reaching out with his tired mind to locate the rest of the kestrels. Using his power to see through the eyes of his raptors had become more difficult since his nights had grown sleepless and dreary. More often now when he tried, the images from the birds returned in a nonsensical jumble. "'Tisn't the lack of sleep. You're losing your power. Soon the kestrels shall fly away from you." Kiaran shoved aside that growing fear as he made his way into the ancient forest. While his raptors meant everything to him, even that worry no longer preyed on him as it had. At last he saw all the kestrels hovering over a small clearing, with a swath of broken, wilting lilies and fern. The flowers and plants had been wrenched out of the ground by some disturbance, and lay heaped over a long, narrow mound, along with many slender branches from the surrounding trees. He drew his sword as he scanned the clearing for signs of intruders. "Who comes here? Show yourself." A low, soft moan came from the lilies, and the kestrels floated down and disappeared beneath the debris. Quickly he waded into the ruined greenery, halting as he saw what had fallen into the forest. "Fack me." The female.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.